You are listening to the Berlin House Music Podcast.
Pretty funny.
You've lived in California.
Yeah. I went to school there. I went to, before that, I went to university.
Okay.
Studied business economics.
Nice.
Yeah. And then, actually, that's where all the music stuff started when I was there. But
Okay.
yeah, California, Santa Barbara, beachside university.
Nice.
I was in classes. I look outside the window and it was the beach. Hard to study there, just party. Sunny every day, beautiful weather, beautiful, just everything.
Nice.
Nature, surfing, sports, like hiking.
Yeah.
And it was a crazy party, like university town. So what you see on movies, like that.
Okay. I've never been.
Yeah, it's awesome. One day I might go back there for some time. Especially that now that I work for Beatport, they have offices in LA.
Yeah.
So I can go there. And also I manage 2 people from the LA office there. So I'm like, I always kind of have a pretext, like, well, I'm their manager, 2 people.
Yeah.
I should be able to go and say hi to them. Even if it's to my own expenses, I can, even if I pay for the flight, which whatever, it doesn't matter. I can be there. There's otherwise, why would I go to Los Angeles,
Yeah.
But I can actually go and work from the Beatport office there. I could stay there like 3 months if I want.
Yeah.
And it's like super dope. So
And wouldn't the people in the Berlin offices miss you then?
yeah, a little bit. And the time difference is a bit tough because I also manage people in Berlin, like more people actually, like way more.
Yeah.
Would probably be a little bit complicated, but you start work at 5 a.m. over there. That would be like 3 p.m. or something or whatever. Yeah, 3 p.m. That's actually no, 2 p.m.
Okay.
So I guess people work in the morning here, and then 2 p.m. comes, and then I sign in, and then it's really early start over there. But anyways, when you fly there,
Yeah.
you got the jet lag, and so actually you're up at 5.
Mm.
And so if you start the habit immediately, then you can do it for a month or 2. Just wake up at 5 every day, go to bed like early,
True.
and then it works. So like there's a bigger overlap.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is like, well, maybe I shouldn't say this publicly, but basically people stop working around 6 or 7 here.
Yeah.
And then you don't hear from them again, and so you have the whole day. Nobody bothers you.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
And you basically can do whatever you want, obviously. But I mean, work needs to be done. But
Yes.
and like here, it's a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Little pre podcast tangent.
That was
Yeah.
a bit too far.
Yeah, and I was there in January last year,
Yeah.
and it's crazy because that was like when I remember I was in LA and we were watching, I think, sports like basketball or something, and there was like commercial break in between and whatnot, and it started to talk about Corona in China.
Okay.
And I was like, whatever, dude. Like, really? And then my friend was like, no, this seems pretty serious. But it was January.
Mm.
So it was before, like, the lockdown started happening like mid-March.
Yes.
So then I came back. Yeah, that's when I heard. And it was such a different life then,
Yes. Yeah, just checking if it's on.
Yeah. It's such a different life. And now, like, a year and... Is it? Wait. Oh, it was a year ago. A year and 1 month later.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy, man. But hopefully, another year or so, and then we'll be good again.
Yeah, next year, I think. Well, clubs are closed till the end of 21.
Yeah. Well, depends where, I would say.
Well, in Germany.
In Germany, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I just heard. I actually just heard something today. That like some clubs like in New York and stuff, they're going to open again, but only 10% capacity.
Okay.
So parties like that. But I mean, if you go around the world, I'm sure there's clubs that will be open. But ultimately, I mean, I'm not really sure it's the best thing to first travel.
Yes.
DJ mix, and I'm not sure it's the right message. If you live there and this is how it is, and I guess maybe it's okay. But if you're coming from a place that is completely locked down and everything, and then you go and play in a club and then you come back, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's the right message to send, even though it would be sick because I want to play, I want to DJ, but we got the streams. Woo!
Yeah, the streams are wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but give it some time. Everything will,
I think so. I think so.
Get into a new phase.
Just been producing like crazy in the meantime.
That's
Make
good.
tons of music, keep the releases coming, and when all this is over, you have so much stuff to like showcase and present.
That is true.
Some will say, well, actually, I make music for clubs. Clubs are closed. There's no point in making music right now. It's just going to be a waste. But I don't know. Some people just don't feel it. They're like, I'm just not feeling to make music. This is music for clubs, and why am I making all this music if nobody's dancing to it?
Yeah.
But I mean, people are doing streams and they need the music, and also it keeps up my skills. Like producing.
Definitely.
Like that's how you got to keep it up. Otherwise, I mean, you get rusty, right? You get rusty, and you have to get back into your flows and your habits. And I just don't want to lose those, because if you lose those, then it's not hard to get back into it, but it's just, I don't want to lose those habits.
It's extra energy that's kind of wasted then.
Yeah, because right now, like when I make music, like, I mean, I go through the cycle of start a track, hate it, hate your life, want to quit music, reinvent. But then eventually, like 2-3 hours in, it just works.
Okay.
And I've been really happy and like thankful to the inspiration gods or whatever, that I'm actually able to make music that I like myself.
That's important.
And gotta keep that up, make the music. Yeah,
definitely. But I think also, like music is not time related anyway. So if you make it now and things go back to normal in the future, and it's still on it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those times when I'm like, why am I making music, man? I'm so shit. It's so bad. It's horrible. And then like 20 minutes later, oh my God, I love this tune. It sounds so good. Best track I've ever made.
Nice.
Happens all the time. It's
yeah.
Hilarious.
How long do you kind of like spend on a track, approximately?
From start to finish?
Yeah.
On average?
Yes.
I don't know. 5 sessions, 6 sessions of 3-4 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't like to make too long. Sometimes I'll produce for 12 hours straight, but I like an afternoon or a morning or, maybe 4 times 4. Like, I don't know if that's a lot or not. Some people say, oh, I did this track in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like, well, I can't do that. I can have a track finish in my head in 2 hours or in actually 30 minutes.
Okay.
Because you get the groove, you get the vibe.
Yeah.
And from that moment, this track is done in your head. Mm-hmm. But then you have to arrange it, mix it, all the fine tuning, all that thing. But it's done.
Yes.
This I can go very fast. That can happen in 1 hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
But from actually being polished, finished, everything.
Yeah, the finishing touches is most of the work, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And especially like transitions and, going from, like chapters within the track, like different chapters and like.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, I totally understand.
Takes time.
Yeah, because at the end you also don't want to, fall into your own concept. Because I notice this sometimes when I produce music, that I produce in a certain concept, or let's say I would have like a introduction and then more melodies comes in, and then I have like a little break, and then you have kind of like a first drop kind of idea. It's not really a drop, but it's still, it kicks in.
Yeah.
And then there is most of the time a second one and another little drop kind of thing, which is different than the first one, and then you go towards the outro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but wait a minute. I don't want to fall into that same pattern every single time,
Yeah. Yeah, I see. Personally, I'm going to say something and then I'll contradict myself, but I always do the same thing.
Yes.
Always.
Okay.
I do the same thing all the time. But it's different every time.
Okay.
It sounds different. It like feels different.
Yeah.
But I'm doing the same thing. My process is always the same.
Yeah.
But I don't go for like, okay, I'm going to go for the drop. Or I just just add stuff. Go for a vibe. I just go for a vibe. That's what when I make music, it's like I just want a vibe to be created.
Yes.
I want to feel in just a mood. Actually, a compliment for me, the best compliment is when people tell me your music is sexy.
Okay.
That's what I go for. I just go for like sensual, energetic, groovy, funky, soulful, but sexy. But then that's why like I just add layers and I just try and make really full atmospheres of just that energy.
Yes.
Basically that energy which is transcribed in words, sexy or whatever. And the drop will just be in the arrangement for me.
Yeah.
I'll take out the kick and I'll take out some drums and I'll keep like the harmonies. I'll take out the bass a little bit, which is basically I'm creating the break as I do that.
Yeah.
And then I bring everything back and boom, that's the drop. I'm not really trying to think like, okay, I'm going to make a drop now. No, it's more about going as much as I can with a project, like in terms of like adding drums, adding grooves, adding harmonies, adding a vocal. And once I feel like, okay, I have a really good thing, that's when I start to deconstruct. But I'm sure that's pretty basic for a lot of people. I don't know like how people will focus 2 hours on drums. Like I'm not about like getting the drums right immediately and then getting the right kick. I'm just like, I'll add whatever.
Yeah.
Get a rhythm or something, just get that vibe. It's all about, for me, all about the vibe. And once the vibe is done, then okay, now I'm going to work on the drums. I'm going to get those hats in. I'm going to I'm going to add a loop, a sample.
Yes.
And yeah, actually, I'm super excited to go in the studio soon because I've been watching some tutorials.
Nice.
When I first started producing, when I was like, I don't know, in 2008 maybe, or 2009, I was watching on a website called Sonic Academy. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
No.
And there's tons of tutorials about producing on Ableton and stuff. And I used to that's how I learned initially.
Yeah.
Then I stopped doing that. And recently, like, kind of want to elevate my game a little bit, learn some new tricks, some new techniques. And I just saw this tutorial the other day from Wyatt Marshall.
Okay.
He's this amazing producer from the States. He makes like more like minimal deep tech and like some maybe a bit tech house, but more like very modular, like organic, like automated, like just always moving.
Yeah. Really
super like amazing grooves, housey, like kind of minimal house scene.
Okay.
And he's just showing all these tricks, and I'm like, damn, like I have to try this. So I can't wait to actually apply my sound.
Yes.
And my thingies with these techniques. Especially like how to make things more organic and modular.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's not so sequenced. And what I mean by that is just like, okay, it's always the same thing. It's just sequence. One thing comes in, another thing comes in, another thing comes in. No, and this is all these techniques with Ableton where you can kind of just, yeah, you have one element, but that element is automating, going through LFOs, going through all these different types of things, and it's just always changing.
Yes.
Like always changing. It's this thing in Ableton where I forgot the terminology of it, but you can put like 20 samples, and then there's like this there's some sort of sequencer, and then you can do the starting point depending on which sample you use, and it's just always moving.
Yeah.
It's just always moving, and so it's selecting a different sample, and it's moving, and then you have LFOs, and then you map the LFOs to like all the different like settings of the sound and use like affecting the sample a little bit, and it's just moving all the time. And then you put effects on top of that, and then you put some filter, and it just all of a sudden you have this crazy thing that's just nonstop moving and never the same.
Nice.
And that's why I really want to try stuff like that, you know, and kind of make my music a little less obvious, a little less like, okay, yeah, all right, he's doing it again with his freaking, pianos. And I mean, that's what I was saying earlier. Like my music it's always the same.
Okay.
But funnily enough, when you make a track at the end, I hear it and I'm like, okay, so it sounds like me, but it's not the same as other tracks.
No.
But I'm using the same elements. I'm using the same. It's quite interesting how that works.
Yeah.
I guess if somebody has a guitar, like if somebody plays with a guitar, he has one guitar.
Yeah.
And he's playing multiple songs, but they all sound different, but it's the same instrument. So I guess maybe in that way it's similar, but yeah.
That is true, but I don't think that your tracks sound very similar. It's like I get that as you. There is kind of this energy or vibe to it that I know it's the Checkup, but it's not. It doesn't fall into the same.
That's cool.
music.
Yeah, now
in
as I was
general.
saying earlier, I bought all these new plugins because I got a new computer. I got a Mac Mini, like fully upgraded, so I'm super stoked because I've been using an iMac, 2010 iMac for the past basically 11 years.
Yes.
I'm good at math. And I couldn't install Ableton 10. I haven't upgraded in like since like High Sierra. No, not even High Sierra, just Sierra.
Okay.
Like 2000 and I don't know, 14 or 15.
Mm.
I haven't upgraded it, but like some of the things are not working anymore. It's getting slow, and I was like, I want to get Ableton 10.
Yes.
I can't even install it on there. So I got a new computer, and then I got tons of new instruments and new plugins and upgraded stuff, and so I'm ready.
Nice.
I'm ready for the next 11 years.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think, well...
Shit, I'll be 44. That's weird. Damn. Oh, boy. You'll be 40.
Yeah. Well, there's still some time till then.
Yeah.
But I think you're always looking for new techniques. Every time we spoke or met up, you're always like telling me about something you learned new to...
Really?
Yeah, definitely.
Nice. Interestingly, I have no interest in learning how to mix down properly.
Okay.
I mix my own tracks.
Yes.
And then most of the time, I mix them to the fullest extent that I can.
Yeah.
And then usually I'll get help.
Okay.
I just don't want to spend the time learning about it. Even though I probably should, and there's some creative art to mixing.
Yes.
But that's just not my expertise. I'm like a storyteller, I just want to create a vibe.
Okay.
I don't want to spend fucking 5 hours
Yeah.
getting the elements right, and it's not my thing. And also I simply don't have time for that. So I'd rather be creative and then get somebody else to help me with the mix.
Yeah, but I understand. But there are like 3 different processes, like producing, mixing, and mastering.
Mastering, I will never. I think I will never even bother. I have a mastering guy. He's amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't see why I would change it for what, just so that I know I can do it. Well, he'll do it better. I can spend 5 years, 10 years learning. He'll still do it better.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, but you have like those guys who know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
It's something about hearing as well. You have to be able to hear those things. I don't even know how to begin to hear these things.
Yes.
Like when I'm told like, putting a multi-band compressor and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. Like really, I don't even compress anything on my music.
That's
I
nice.
only do sidechain compressing. That's it.
Yes. Yeah.
When I'm like talking to people and they're talking about compressing and
Yeah.
I'm absolutely not criticizing. I just don't really understand what the hell that even is.
Yeah.
I mean, I know what a compressor is to a certain extent, but yeah.
A lot of people use compression. Yeah, I don't use compression at all, but
exactly.
I think a lot of people get more out of their samples. Let's say with compressing certain areas of it, and let's say if the sample's not loud enough, and if the sample is just maybe a shitty sample, then you can still get some stuff out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But generally, yeah, compression is a different thing.
Yeah. So what was it that I heard? It was, I'm trying to remember, like multi-band EQ. It's compression with EQs actually.
Yeah, I think I've
pushing down a frequency with
Exactly.
with a filter as opposed to a compressor. I've actually heard about that. Some people were telling me, and yeah, my friend was telling me that it was so much better. It leaves so much space because when you're like sidechain compressing, you're like really taking out a lot of the band basically.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it with an EQ, and I think like it's called, it's from FabFilter Pro Q3, I think.
Okay.
I think that's what it is, and that's what it does.
Yeah.
You're able to to do the same effect as a compressor, but with an EQ, and then it sounds way better, like in the mix. And
Okay.
This stuff I understand.
Yes.
But when it comes to compressing and mastering and like, forget it. I used to work with a guy who was who was mastering.
Yeah.
And I was just sit next to him, and I mean, I'm looking at what he's doing, and I'm understanding, like, and I'm following.
Yes.
But ask me to do it again, no chance.
Yeah.
No chance.
Well, this is the thing when it comes to there is also a tool. I think it was in the Ozone plugin as well, where you can actually see the phase of things. That's kind of where I where I lose it, where I don't,
Like the
get it.
phase, you mean phasing?
Like phasing.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, like that process and how they can see then some frequencies of the track are not in phase, and they're like, wait a
Oh
minute.
shit, really?
I'm like, I don't know.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually like phasers though. Phasers is cool.
Phases are nice.
Yeah, phasers and flangers.
Yeah.
You know, like it's funny because when I think of flanger, I think of the DJM 800 or any other mixer that you use, and you know the effect you never use,
Mm-hmm.
except if you're like, I don't know, you know, people say, oh, this guy's a beginner because he's like.
Yes.
And so like for a long time I was like, I guess not brainwashed, but I was like, you know, under the impression the flangers are not great, but
Yeah.
I've discovered that I love flangers, like or
Yes.
flangers or whatever you pronounce it, and I use it a lot now in my music.
Okay.
Again, with the idea of modulating,
Yes.
changing, and kind of just making it a little bit more not so sequenced. Yeah,
Yeah, a bit more dynamic, I think.
that could be a cool name, or unsequenced, or something.
Sequenced. You've heard it here first.
Actually, there's a thing called sequenced. There's a company called Sequence,
Okay.
and this transition was not planned.
Are you getting paid for this? Or
No.
what's the deal?
No, they're the first company who were smart enough to do some sort of kind of like what Shazam does,
Okay.
but for finding out what the tune is being played on streams,
Okay.
and it's epic. I mean, anybody that plays on a stream, they have the technology to basically pull the track list.
Okay.
It's pretty epic.
Nice. But does that also mean that, it will get blocked and such stuff? Or is it just,
Blocked how?
I mean, like, you have the YouTube guidelines.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
I think now it's, I guess it's for Beatport because they just use our catalog. So if we have it on our catalog, they will find it immediately.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Yeah,
why.
yeah.
That's why.
Nice.
Yeah, this whole like, what is it called? Whitelisting.
Yes.
Is that what it is on YouTube and Facebook? It's so annoying. Like, okay, the major, yeah, all right, you're not making money off of it because the rights, and with Facebook and YouTube, I guess they're not paying them out. So okay, it's silly. They make so much money already. Like,
Yeah.
it's silly. It's silly.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I had a couple of times that a track gets taken down, blocked immediately.
Yeah.
And then I need to dispute it. But in the meantime, the label has to whitelist the channel. Otherwise, the channel gets a copyright strike. And you can have only 3 copyright strikes on the channel.
Snap. With Berlin house music.
Yeah, and then
Oh,
it
fuck.
gets deleted, basically.
Especially for premieres, you don't know where those. Do you have a system in place that like you ask like, hey, are your tracks sample free and stuff like that?
Yes,
Or
yes.
You do? Okay.
Yeah,
good.
so generally, I don't. I want to do like more of kind of a contract thing that they need to sign. But now, like generally, I'm listening to it. I'm like, if I hear anything suspicious, then I will ask. But also, I try to avoid disco edits mostly.
Yeah.
Because those
That
trigger
makes
the
sense.
most.
That makes total sense. Yeah.
Yeah, copyright strikes.
Yeah.
But yeah, copyright thing is an interesting topic.
Yeah, definitely. And disco as well.
Yes.
They just made me think, like, it's funny because I absolutely love disco.
Okay.
Love disco. Absolutely am incapable of making a disco house track.
Okay.
Yeah, I've tried many times, like,
Yes.
take a sample and like do something with it.
Yes.
Doesn't resonate.
Okay.
I don't know why. It's interesting. And then you hear some guys like, I don't know, like Fol Amour or something, and he just takes a disco record, and even if he's just an edit or whatever, it just all of a sudden brings it so much life inside. I'm like, how do they do this?
Yeah.
Again, I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to music. I say it every time, and I mean it. Like, I have no clue what I'm doing. Like, it's just, the topic is flow states, right? You know flow states?
Yeah.
It's when you're basically in a state where you don't think anymore, and you basically don't really know you exist.
Okay.
I'm exaggerating, but it's just like it's like in the zone. Like, you're not really,
Yes.
you're not thinking anymore. And I forgot what I was saying. Flow states.
Well,
And I don't know what I'm doing. See, I was in a flow state right now.
True.
I don't know what I'm doing. And then when I think about stuff, then I'm having trouble. But when I stop thinking, that's when it just flows.
Yes. Yeah.
Ask me 20 minutes later how I did that, I'd be like, no clue. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I feel you. But I
The
think
creative input, at least.
But I think generally, if you start with I want to make this disco edit kind of thing, then it should come naturally, because otherwise you're building kind of walls for your creativity, you know.
Yeah.
And then it's hard to fit or
Yeah.
like work inside those borders.
But then sometimes you'll try to work with a sample and you'll do something, and then you remove the sample, and all of a sudden you have a really cool track.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, okay. So it sometimes can inspire you.
True.
Yep. But then again, like we said, copyright, stealing, sampling. I mean,
Yes.
technically it's called stealing, but I read this really interesting article once that was saying life is a remix. Everything we do is a remix. Art is a remix.
Okay.
People get influenced, I'll watch a painting and then I want to do something similar, and then I paint myself, and here you go. I have this painting now, but that totally influenced me. Is that stealing?
Yeah, that's the thing.
So, okay, technically, when we're talking about physical material in a record, like actual part of the song.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're using that, but I mean, it's like if you're using a drum set, it's a sound.
Yes.
You're using a sound, so are you stealing the sound? I mean, I'm probably not making any sense right now, but
No, you are.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we touched upon this. Actually.
Like, how can even melodies?
Yes. Yeah, because everything is already kind of influenced. You've already heard some inspirations here and there, and but you're also generally influenced by society and by the environment you live in. So you actually never come, let's say, from a 100% clean perspective.
Exactly.
Unless you've been living, somewhere completely else and never have been in touch with humanity. But
Ever.
then you also don't know how to use any tools to actually make the art anyways.
Yeah.
So it's kind of I think, collective energy vibes that people, but I totally agree on the life is a remix thing.
What's the probability that two human beings will have the same melody in their head and make the same song? Maybe not exactly the same song, but the same melody.
Yes.
I mean, how many notes are there? 12?
Are there 12?
24.
Check count on the keyboard.
No, with the semitones and...
Yes.
Actually, yeah. Semitones makes me think centitones, and centitones makes me think about tuning my drums.
Okay.
that was what my thought pattern just happened right now, because I tune everything when I make music. My hats and my claps, and then you tune that in centitone. I mean, it's really, really, each sound has a tone, right?
Yes.
And sometimes you want to make sure like that your clap and your hat is at the same tone, but that's just you're really talking centitones, not a full tone, because that you hear it too much.
Yeah.
But like sometimes one will be on the note, and then you'll have 33 centitones more for the other element, and then they'll be in tune.
Yes.
I don't know how I got to this. I didn't smoke anything. Centitones, but this is something I learned from not my first or second or third or fourth music partner, that I've met in my life, and like a virtuoso piano player, rose player, drummer, bassist, like just virtuoso musician, had an incredible ear. You could play any chord, twisted chords, whatever chord, he'd tell you immediately what it is. Like, he'd play it, and he would always tune everything. And that's what I've been doing in my music. Like, I tune everything together.
Okay.
My kick, it needs to be tuned to my bass. My hats, my claps need to be tuned to my kicks.
Yes.
The drums need to make sense. Sometimes you use dissonant sounds because it just works.
Yeah.
Don't know why. There's probably some mathematical explanation, because basically everything is math.
True.
But so now I always do that, and it's funny. You know what's funny? It's when I start collaborating with other people, I notice all these little things that I'm like basically teaching them, or showing them what I do, and it makes me think, oh man, I quite do a lot of these little thingies that I also learned from other people.
Yes.
And that's how you learn. And I think collaboration in general is how you improve and how you learn. And that's why I started doing these tutorials, or not doing, but watching them.
Yeah.
because it's ultimately you're collaborating because you're just watching somebody make music. Because a lot of the time when you're collaborating, I mean, this is one guy making the track, the other one sitting there giving ideas, which are super important.
Yes.
And I think like without that, the track would never be like that ever. Okay. So, you know, it's, I think, equal importance, but there's always one guy doing.
Yes.
And the guy doing has his own techniques and his own approach, and you're watching and you're like, oh, this is nice.
Yeah.
You know, I've learned a lot of stuff like this.
So you kind of collect some new techniques here and there.
Yeah.
In general.
Yeah. Here and there. Like tomorrow I'm going to go in the studio with a friend and probably going to learn some things, you know?
Yes.
When am I going to go in the studio with you, man?
True.
It's been too I've been talking about it forever. Is this mine? My
yes.
water?
This is yours. This is your glass.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're a badass producer yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Not saying that I am too, but you definitely are.
Well, you are for sure.
It's funny, like, I don't know about you, but I've only started liking my music only a few years ago. And I've been doing this for a long time.
How long have you been doing it?
Well, I started playing the saxophone when I was 8.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned I was classically trained to read music partitions. I was in groups, music groups, bands, all throughout my life. I started playing, not throughout my life, throughout my childhood, from 8 until, let's say, 17, 18.
Yeah.
I learned to play the drums, so then I became more of a drummer than a saxophone player. I like drums more.
That is true.
I played in 5 or 6 rock bands in my life.
Okay.
From punk rock to hard rock to classic rock.
Yes.
Ultimately, that's where my roots is more rock.
Yeah.
Than house, than dance music. I actually discovered dance music when I was 18 or 19.
Okay. But yeah, I was generally really impressed by your drumming skills that you showed me the other day.
Yeah, I remember. Well, it's been a while since I've been behind a drum set actually, but
yeah.
I made an album once and I did all the drums on an electric drum set. It was super cool.
Nice.
But what was your question? Why did I start speaking about the saxophone? I said saxophone.
Well, how long you've been producing, kind of.
That's right. And when I was I moved to California for my studies, and when I was 18, a friend of mine, roommate, his name is Kevin. Shout out. He was always listening to dance music. Let's call it dance music because back then it wasn't house. We were listening to some house, but it was also like electro house, but like the early electro house.
Okay.
You know, like the early, like, I don't even know how to describe this music anymore. You know, I work at Beatport now and we define genres. I don't really know where it would fit. It's just like those early, like Steve Angelo kind of like era, you know, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And he was listening to music like this, and I really liked it, and I thought it was pretty cool. And he took me to a house party where his friend, next shout out, was it DJ? Well, his name's Alex Anselme. DJ Loxias, that's what it is. Okay. DJ Loxias. He was playing on the turntables, vinyl only.
Nice.
And I was like, I want to do this.
Dope.
I want to do this. Like that. This looks so fun. I want to be a DJ.
Yeah.
But I was convinced to buy my turntables by another friend because I was talking about it a lot. And one of my friend, William, he was like, fucking buy them, dude. Buy the turntables. Do it. So I did. I bought the turntables, and that was 2006.
Yeah.
And I started buying records. But I would buy them in Germany because my parents were living in Germany back then, and I would go visit them every few months. And I would go to Germany in this little record store in Düsseldorf.
Yes.
And I bought all my records from that store.
Nice.
Bring them back to California, and then I started playing house parties.
Dope.
And it was fucking banging because in a university town, imagine like how to describe. A little town, but it's like in blocks, you know, like, you know how in America it's blocks, right?
Yes.
You don't have turns, or it's just straight.
Yeah.
It's like perpendicular, like blocks. Just student houses, like let's say 1 mile over 2 miles, like, you know, like 2 square miles.
Okay.
And at the end, on one side you have the ocean, and it's like ocean front. And so we would have house parties there with like, I don't know, 300 people every weekend, Friday, Saturday.
Sick.
And I started making parties, and I started like kind of get popular actually. People would come to my parties, and that's when Facebook was starting, and I would have like attending like on Facebook events, like 1,000, university parties. But it was, and I was playing electro. I would call it electro, I guess, back then. Electro, and then just DJing, and I was really starting to get popular. So then I started playing in the clubs.
Yes.
And then I started playing in like mini festivals and stuff in Santa Barbara area.
Yeah.
And then I discovered Beatport.
Okay.
And when I discovered Beatport, I sold my Technics.
Yes.
Because it was hard to find the music.
Mm.
It was really difficult to find the records there. Online, you kind of could. It was a hard to find records.com. I think that was where I would go on.
Okay.
Super hard to find records. Never even thought about looking for a record store in Santa Barbara. I don't know why. That's where I was. But then I discovered Beatport. My friend showed me, and I was like, this is insane.
Everything online.
Yeah. All digital.
Yes.
And my friend, DJ Luxias, he had got like the early final scratch. Okay. Which is like the equivalent of Serato and Traktor, but the early ones. And he was doing that, but I don't know why it was weird to me to play digital music on fake vinyl. Okay. So I sold my Technics and I bought some Pioneer CDJ 800 MK2. Nice. And then I started burning CDs and buying music on Beatport, and that's when I got into tech house. Okay. The real tech house, the good tech house, not like the tech house you hear today. Yes. I mean, there's still some great tech house today, but it was more like the early Format B, the early like... Yeah. Well, people would say that's not tech house. Not the housey tech house, but the more kind of funky... Sidney Charles? Yeah, but that's still later. Okay. Even before his time. I used to love like Sébastien Léger. Okay. Format B, Tubenberger, like and him, but like early. Yeah. But Tubenberger are nice. Yeah. Definitely. And Sébastien Léger was like my idol. Okay. I was always looking up to him. I met him many times, kind of became friends over the years. Yeah. He would come to LA, I would go with him backstage, see him play and stuff. And I don't know, he was just my reference. He was the guy, the way he DJ'd, the way he mixed. It was just my, people look up to an artist. I looked up to him, and I wanted to just do the music like that. And so I started, and that's where it takes me. So this whole pre-story about when I started making music was in 2008. I had my other friend, Alex, DJ X Vertigo in LA, and we were making parties with him in LA, French guy. We met at a rave called Monster Massive with like 10,000 people. Oh, shit. I think we were watching Digitalism play. Okay. And I was wearing a French football jersey. Okay. And he came up to me. He was like, "Nice jersey," because he's French. Yes. And we became friends, stayed in touch. Nice. And he introduced me to a basically ghost producer. Okay. Really talented guy who had a studio on top of his grandparents' house, a mansion. Overlooking like the valley in like the Los Angeles area. And basically we wanted to make tracks, but I didn't know how to make tracks, no idea. Yeah. So we started making tracks together. First track, I mean, this is hilarious, right? But the first track we made was called Fuck Me, I'm French. Because we wanted to be like David Guetta back then, and he was Fuck Me, I'm Famous, True. Fuck me, I'm French. If I showed you this track, you would... man, I have to find this track. I'm going to show it to you. Yeah. And then you probably will ban me on Facebook. No more premieres for you. No, but really, like, it's the worst song ever. Okay. Well, but first productions are always hard, I mean, I didn't actually touch the computer. I was sitting next to the guy and telling him, do this, do that. Yes. And that's how it happened. He was using Cubase. Yeah. And then eventually I got into Ableton through a friend who showed me, and then I started making music through Ableton. But I mean, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, Yeah. I did to a certain extent, but not really. I don't even know where I was getting my sounds or creating this. I don't even remember, like, how was the samples back then? How did we do it? I don't even remember. It was a while back. Yeah. But yeah, Sonic Academy, started watching tutorials then. And then I was still in California, and then, making music, making tracks, but not any good,
Yeah. When
And then,
was your first release then?
oh, my first release was when I moved back to Belgium.
Okay.
So still hadn't released. It was, I don't know what I was doing. I was like this 21-year-old kid,
Yeah.
But then I moved back to Belgium, actually, after my studies, because my parents were living there, and then basically I was on a student visa.
Yes.
And I couldn't stay anymore.
Okay.
Because I wasn't working. And so I had to start over. It was tough.
Yes.
No friends. I didn't know anybody. Living at your parents' house, coming from California, sunny, to like Belgium in the middle of nowhere, snowing. I moved in December. What an idiot. Bad idea.
So 4 years or like 3 years?
I stayed at like 6.5 years in
California.
Yeah, 6 years in California, yeah.
Nice.
There's a story behind why I was in California in the first place, but another time.
You want to get into it?
No. Just family, friends. My whole life I went there for summer, and then I always wanted to.
Okay.
But I moved back to Belgium, and then at that point, I was all about tech house. That I described, funky techno, tech house. That's how we called it, funky techno.
Yeah.
Like even some stuff like from Cyrus D or something, like this kind of early Stefano Noferini or like these guys. Mostly tech house, but always quite groovy, always quite like, also soulful, but not in the house way.
Yeah.
Not in a like house music, but like more like a Nick Venturi way.
Okay.
Like the early Nick Venturi as well. And then I kind of like started networking, going to the clubs, meeting the people, and I don't even know how I met this guy somehow. Well, anyways, I met somebody, a friend of mine, Italian guy, who was also producing, and I started producing with him, learning a lot from him. Yeah. By the way, if I'm talking too much about myself, let me know. I'm going to tell you the whole life story, baby.
Tell me, please.
But, then we started making music.
Yes.
Made tech house. We made a first band together called Super Drums.
Okay.
So if you go on Beatport, you can find Super Drums, actually. It's still there, all there. Which is kind of like that music that I'm referring to. Then we made an album, which was for something completely different, more influence from like Daft Punk and like Justice and like that kind of like electronic rock kind of. Just wanted to blend things, and we went into the studio, produced it for 2 years.
Okay.
Did I ever show you the album? No.
Nope.
I'll have to send it to you.
Yeah.
Never released it.
No.
Yeah,
you still have it.
Still have it, yeah.
Planning on releasing it though?
Maybe, I don't know. It's just so different. It has nothing to do with what I do these days. Absolutely nothing. But it could be good for like publishing and sync, like movies or commercials, or because it's quite cinematic.
Yeah.
And then the Checkup started.
Okay.
After I broke up with this guy, and musically speaking, because we wanted to do different things. He wanted to go into hip hop.
Okay.
Hip hop and trap, and he's badass. Like honestly, genius. Like I was 25 or something by then, and he was like 16 when I met him.
Okay.
Can you imagine?
Mm-hmm.
I was making music with a 16-year-old, but he was so fucking good.
Yeah.
And we made music till he was like for 3 years maybe or something like that. And then we did our own thing. And at that point, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being an absolute noob. Yes. And 10 being like Daft Punk, which I will never reach, obviously. Let's not make those references.
Exactly, man.
Yeah.
Give yourself...
No, I meant like, let's not talk, because I will never...
No, but what I mean, give yourself some space, some time.
How about that? On a scale of 1 to how I feel now,
yes,
I was probably like a 5 or even a 4.
Okay.
Because otherwise, where do I stand to Daft Punk? Like also a 5, so...
Yeah. Okay.
On a scale of 1 to where I feel like I am at the level now, I was probably at like, 3 or 4.
Okay.
But I had enough to get going.
Yes.
And to put in the hours and practice. And also the album that we produced, man, I learned so much about producing, arranging. A lot of the things that you think, arrangement is like, for me, one of the most important things. Yeah. It's so important, the arrangement aspect, and I learned a lot about that. And in 2014 or 13, I got close to this record label in Brussels.
Mm-hmm.
Electronic Reads, they're called.
Okay.
And some of the guys, Felix Cage, Soul Dust, like homies of mine now, you know?
Yeah.
And then at that moment as well, I was DJing a lot in the clubs. Then I became resident in some really cool clubs in Brussels.
Nice.
Always at Super Drums, and it was, you know... Oh, yeah, my partner left Super Drums. I continued with Super Drums.
Okay.
And then... But then through that label, I met this Italian guy, the guy that I was mentioning, who's a virtuoso piano player, bass player.
Yes.
We started the Checkup together because I heard his music.
Yeah.
His name is solo name Lex Newton.
Okay.
Wow, he was such a good producer. Such a good producer, like really, really good musician, everything.
Yeah.
And we produced together because we had a similar taste for music. And we made some tracks, and they were immediately like just next level for me, you know,
Nice.
like absolutely next level. And you know, we produced for a few years together as the Checkup together, and we had like #1 on Track Source like 3 times,
Okay.
and we released on some really cool labels. We had Defected asking for music. We
Nice.
released on Tool Room, like some big labels. You're like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah.
who am I? Like, these labels, like.
Yeah.
Really, you know? And the problem, though, was that I was younger and he was older.
Okay.
And he wanted different things after a while. Like, he was the age that I am now, 33, and I was 26.
Yeah.
And it takes time to kick off a career and stuff and have a goal. And, you know, like, when you're 33, like, I understand now, like, you know, sometimes you want something different. You want to think about your future, about your life, about, you know...
Yes.
And, you know, not having a job and making music every day and having money from gigs and stuff. And it's cool, but, like, you have to really think about what you want to do with your life as well, you know. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. I mean, I obviously did it, doing it, continuing, but... So he decided to stop.
Okay.
But I was like, you know, he was one of my best friends as well. We were really close. I said, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I'm going to keep the name because we worked so hard, because we really did. We were working so much, making so much music.
Yeah.
And there was no way in hell that I would let go of that name. And he said, yeah, go for it.
Nice.
A lot of the Checkup sound, you know, comes from him. I mean, I feel like now I have, if you listen to the 2014, 2015, 2016 Checkup,
Yeah.
maybe not 16, 15, you recognize some of the sound palettes, but the music I make today is completely different.
Mm.
Not completely different, but it's me, you know?
Yeah.
Not us. Some similar sounds, but they're different. It's the way I use them is different.
Yeah, but
With him, it was more stabs. With me, it's more like using the same sound, but long.
Okay.
So instead of ding, 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 I would just go ding and just let it go for a long time.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And I add organ and a Rhodes and a piano, and I just make it super atmospheric, you know? But then I have really like subby bass lines now.
Yeah.
With him, it was more like a what is it? Like a rubber bass, kind of like a tong tong tong, you know? Which was cool. It's like more garagey, a garage house. And actually, I'll tell you why I'm called the Checkup now that I mentioned that. How we came up with the name. But more like garage house.
Yes.
Now, I prefer making... For me, it's more like the real... According to me, deep house.
Okay.
Which is like sexy. We were making more like garagey, UK influenced house music. Which I've kind of moved away from now.
Yes.
But by referring to garage house, this is where the name the Checkup comes from, because we love garage. I still love garage, like love garage.
Yes.
And we bonded over this mixtape from Matt Jam Lamont,
Okay.
1996 mixtape or 1995. Matt Jam Lamont, you know, godfather of garage in the UK, still produces, still really good. We released on his label, Solo Music, if I remember correctly. Garage.
Yes.
garage.
Mm-hmm.
What happens when you go to the garage with your car?
Yes.
You get a
Checkup. Sick.
That's it. So we were like, the Checkup.
Nice. Okay.
And the Checkup was born, and yeah, like I said, super popular. Then he left, and then I continued, and I think that was 2000 and he stopped, I think, 2015.
Okay.
And then I had a year of doubt and anxiety and fear and sadness and depression, and because I couldn't make music at that level. He was just so much better than me.
Yeah.
I came with a lot of ideas, and I stand by that. I mean, I really think that our music was a collaboration of us.
Yes.
He was behind the machine, you know.
Yeah.
He was the virtuoso keyboard player.
Mm.
You know, he was the guy who was making the tracks.
Yes, yes, yes.
I was with him, and I was like coming with tons of ideas, and I was with him from A to Z, you know, like from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Not like do the track and then I put my name on it, or no, never like that. But I was also like doing the aspect of like networking and getting into the labels, and I was doing a lot of that social media. I was doing all of this for us.
Yes.
But then, yeah, like I said, he stopped. And it took me a while, 1 year, 2 year, I wouldn't even say like 3 years.
Yeah.
To find myself again musically.
Yeah, but I think it's also hard to then gain all that knowledge, basically, of being the man behind the machines than yourself.
Exactly, and it took a while. And I'm just wondering, like, I don't know, all of a sudden, at one point, I just started making music that I actually liked, and that was only like 2017, 2018.
Okay.
Which is recently, right?
Yes.
I mean, as a DJ, I have all the confidence. I mean, I've been DJing for so long, and I love DJing. I mean, I started making music because I wanted to DJ more.
Yeah.
I thought that's what you had to do. You had to have your own records, and that's how you DJ more.
Yes.
That didn't now actually play out to be really true. I think there are no rules, and you could, if you want to be a DJ, then you can.
True.
You can do it, and it's just about how you sell yourself. There are some amazing selectors. They're just fantastic and phenomenal. They tell a story. They don't produce.
Yeah.
You know, it's different art. But here I am now, a producer as well as a DJ, and
nice.
and yeah, I've always aspired to be that international superstar DJ, traveling the world, going to the clubs. That never happened. And now I don't even know if that's what I really want.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I did when I was with him, and we were really like, this was our dream. And then when he stopped, I kind of just like, ugh.
Yeah.
And I never managed to connect back to that energy of like, you know, world touring and everything. I kind of just got into a position where I let go of the dream, and I just enjoyed the present more, and kind of just the journey as opposed to the destination.
Yeah.
It has its ups and downs because you want to tour, you want to DJ, you want to have visibility. But then I moved to Berlin, and Berlin did a lot of things for me.
Yeah.
I had the opportunities to play in some nice clubs. You know, when I played at Watergate, like, what the hell, you know, like, it's like a dream come true, because Watergate is the club that got me into house music in the first place.
Uh-huh.
Because maybe shortly after I didn't make the transition from tech house to actually house in the story. Mm-hmm. My friend Charlie, my best friend, moved to Berlin to work at Native Instruments.
Yes.
We met in Brussels, and he was like the homie, and then he told me he's moving to Berlin, and I was devastated. He's like really like a brother to me, you know?
Yeah.
Like family. And so I came to visit him all the time. I even moved to his house once for a whole month.
Nice.
Didn't ask me for no rent, no nut, like just there, and we're just like living together at his place. I was on his couch.
Yeah.
And one night was at Watergate with Homework.
Okay.
Man, one of the best sets I've ever seen. And from that day on, I was like, oh, there was this one track, and I was like, what is this track? And then my friend told me that's Detroit Swindle.
Uh-huh.
And Detroit Swindle. And I'll remember to this day, I was like, who are these guys? And then my friend responded, they're unstoppable.
Nice.
That's what he said. I remember it to this day. You know, Gene on Earth.
That's the
That's
track
my
name?
friend. No, that's my friend.
Oh.
He wasn't Gene on Earth back then. Now he's really
Okay.
popular and has done some really good stuff.
Yeah.
But he's the one who told me they're unstoppable. Detroit
Nice.
Swindle. And then after that trip from Berlin, I came back to Brussels
Yeah.
to my friend Alex, the Checkup, and I was like, Detroit Swindle, motherfucker. Check that music out.
Yes.
And that was the music, man. That was it. Like, Detroit Swindle is the reason, like, I got into this music.
Nice. Well,
as played by Homework, who made an amazing set, which I was like, wow, it was just, they were so good.
Yeah.
Too bad they broke up. I don't even know why they did that. They were so good.
Well, it's now Damn Swindle, right?
Yes. Oh shit. Yeah. I'm silly. Yeah. I mean, it takes a while to change the habit, right? It is Damn Swindle.
Yeah. But it is still Detroit Swindle in my head, kind of.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You know, it's like Joey Negro. Like, oh, oops. You know, it's not anymore.
Yeah.
You know.
To what did he change?
His real name.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Damn Swindle. You're right. And I could talk on forever. Like, I just met them at ADE 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or 1.5 years ago, and it was like, you know, I'm working for Beatport, right? And I'm the head of curation.
Yes.
And now also label relations, but head of curation. And it's funny how when you interact with people, it's a bit different. Like, you actually have people's attention. I'm not saying that, you know, they're really nice people, and I'm sure they would have been really nice, but I was able to put myself in a situation where I get to meet them.
Yes. Yeah.
I was like starstruck, you know. It's like they're my fucking heroes. Like, I love them so much, you know. It's like Kerry Chandler. When I met him, I didn't know what to say. I was like,
hello.
I met Louis Vega. I was on a meeting with Louis Vega recently, and I was also like starstruck because they're my heroes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Detroit Swindle, Louis Vega, Kerry Chandler, all of that fusion is what the sound I want to make, you know.
Yeah.
Louis Vega has that sexy, like, fucking, you know. Kerry Chandler has that super nice. I don't even know how to describe it. It's so good. There's no words for it.
It's just Kerry.
Yeah, exactly. And Detroit, oh, again, Damn Swindle.
Yes.
It's just a definition of the music that I love. They have evolved over time.
Yeah.
Their music is, you know, evolved, yeah, but they're still amazing. And there's a track recently, like, I think it's called Morning Coffee or something, or
one of their newest releases on Heist.
Yeah, like maybe 6 months, 5 months ago, 4 months ago. Super good.
Nice. Is that the one where they sing with the vocals?
It's like coffee in the morning.
Yes.
And then there's a crazy saxophone solo.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so good, so good. And then I knew that I wanted to make music like Detroit Swindle. Like, really, I wanted to make music like them. I didn't want to make my music. I wanted to be like them. Like, it was touched me. Like, it was what I loved the most.
Yeah.
And then eventually, you know, I became myself and kind of have my own thing right now, but it's always influenced by these guys. I used to start a track and listen to their music first, and then I would make music.
Okay.
I don't do that anymore. I don't listen to music before I make a track.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes to have ideas, or maybe on bass lines and kind of like rhythms and stuff like that of the bass. Then I change the melodies and stuff, but I don't really do that anymore. Interesting, actually, thinking of that. I just make it.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think in the very early stages of producing also, you kind of need a direction or inspiration line and try to maybe, let's say, use the techniques they might have used in their track that you're inspired by.
Yeah. And yeah, funny story, actually. I'm full of those. So we went to see Detroit Swindle. Oh, God damn it. Damn Swindle. This is a good exercise because then I remember, yeah.
Okay.
I need to be respectful, you know?
Yes. Okay, every time you say Detroit Swindle,
break a finger.
Yes. Jesus. I'll just say Damn Swindle.
Jesus Swindle. I just, you know, working at Beatport, wanted to work with them more, and just because I love their music and I just really want to help them grow. I mean, I don't need to help them grow because they're already massive, but I just, you know, want to show support, basically. Mm-hmm. So we went to the club, and I only got to briefly meet one of them.
Okay.
but super nice guy. Gave him a record actually. I was like, yeah, I love you so much. Take my record. This is a dream, you know?
Yes.
And I didn't get to meet so I met Lars.
Okay.
And then Martijn, I think, or Martine, and I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
Martijn.
Martijn. Martijn. Yeah,
It's the Dutch.
Love the Dutch, man. They're the best. I really love the Dutch. Some of my best homies are Dutch. Jerome, Project 89, who I make music with as well.
Nice.
Dutch. Now I'm thinking collaborations, and I'm thinking all the people I made collabs with. I love collabing. And then I didn't get to meet Martijn. Oh well, you know.
Yes.
Stay there till like 5 a.m, and then we were at ADE. You don't sleep, so I mean, I woke up at 8 a.m. the next day.
Yeah.
Or to just do some work. And then they had the store. They had a 4-day or 3-day store. What do you call it? A store.
Store session.
Pop-up store. Or, yeah, store.
Okay. Was it in a record store or was it?
It was in a record store, and also with a clothing store, kind of together.
Which one was it? Do you know? Was it Merry Go Wild by any chance?
Yes.
Nice.
No.
Oh.
No. Merry Go Wild. No, Merry Go Wild was Jennifer Cardini's label, I think. Correspondent.
What else do you have?
I could be wrong though. I don't remember. But it was this really nice baskets. You know baskets?
Yes.
This brand, like this streetwear, kind of like skater vibes.
Okay.
Next door they had a record store, and
yeah.
But they were giving away merch. Well, not giving away. I wanted to buy the sweater. I wanted to get some records, you know.
Yes.
And I went there at the opening because then I had meetings and I had all these things all day long, and I wasn't gonna be able to go, you know. I show up, and there's just Martijn in the shop, and it's like 10 a.m. or 10:30.
Nice.
And I'm just like,
it's destiny.
Hi, hello.
I love you.
I love you so much. And then I told him the story that I just told you about me
Yes.
loving their music and the song "You Stole My Love," and it's called "The Breakup."
Okay.
And I was like, this record touched my life. It made my, you know. And then he gave me the record. He's like, have it. I have it right here. Have it.
Nice.
So I have it on. And then I ended up buying like a sweater, t-shirt, scarf, everything.
Yes.
But then I got to meet him, and it was just phenomenal. Like, yeah, it was like a dream come true. It's pretty interesting, huh? How that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's wonderful. I think it's always interesting when you kind of, you know, have the dream of your heroes and at one point get to meet them and actually maybe show them some of your work that, you know, was inspired by them. And definitely. I think it's great to have like general inspiration from people because it really pushes you to do some work and get things done, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the next dream would be to release on Heist, but I mean, better step up my game. I mean, when you see the artists that they're signing, I mean, you know, Max Grave or these types of guys, they're so good, so good. There's recently they've been signing these guys, Cassian. They're so good as well. Oh my god!
I think he's from Berlin.
No, two guys.
Two
guys.
Because I think there was one producer was called Al Cassian.
Not Cassian, yeah.
Cassian.
Two guys.
Okay.
I think they're from like Ireland or something, or I can't remember.
Okay.
But yeah, great label.
Detroit
Swindle.
Yeah, really nice. I think we recently also had like a premiere on Berlin House Music for one of the tracks.
No way.
Yes.
Wow.
But not direct contact, to be honest. It went through an agency kind of thing.
Well.
But yeah. But it's always nice to have like, you know, nice music on the channel.
Yeah, so now you know my whole life.
I
hope the people who are listening are not falling asleep. They've already skipped, man. Attention spam these days. It's like, this guy is like, who cares?
No, but I think it's really inspiring story.
Okay, that's good.
No, but I think also the weird transition, let's say, starting on vinyl and then actually having this epiphany of digital music and then going like a lot digitally. And yeah, touching also upon,
Yeah.
let's say, your heroes, and then meeting them in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I buy records again. I play records again.
Yes.
Actually, with my own label.
Yeah.
We have a vinyl, thanks to you and helping us out and discovering this world. I mean, how to get it pressed,
Heat up music.
Heat up music. Yeah.
Yes.
I heat up music, since we talking about the label, I just like, heat, like sexy heat, like, like when you're on the dance floor, you want that heat, right? You want to heat it up, like,
yes.
That's what it was, heat up.
Nice.
And initially started this label when I signed. Well, I was working with Large Music. Still am. I should make an EP for them. It's been a while. Large Music really, like, I think was one of the main reason, like, that I got to where I am. The label's amazing. It's one of the best labels ever for deep house. Jeff supported my music for a long time, and then he suggested I make my own label as well.
Yeah.
And he helped me and distributed me and really, really helped everything. He's such a nice guy. Shout out to Jeff.
Shout out to Jeff.
This is what we do in podcasts, right?
Definitely. Shout out here, shout out there.
You can hear my voice in the headphones.
Yes.
Shout out. And so we made the label, and now we're on our 27th release.
Nice.
In a few weeks.
Yeah.
With Diligence.
Yeah.
And Diligence is my other Belgian co-producer.
Yeah.
Who I make music with, and we've made some sick music together. He's such a good producer as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I actually met through Alex, my initial friend who I made music with, and they used to make music themselves in the 90s, so it's...
Yes, which is crazy. I met Diligence as well.
Yeah,
when I was
exactly.
in
So he's my homie.
Yes,
and we're planning on making more stuff. Actually, we have an EP coming out, him and I, in probably April or May.
Okay.
Collaboration. We made that EP like 2 years ago. We still haven't released it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
So we're going to release it. And we had a #1 on Beatport with Deep House with Elisa, which is insane.
True.
Can you imagine? Like,
Elisa.
never, ever have thought that. Yeah, Elisa.
But it's also stuck for a while.
For like a few months.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, that was super dope. Yeah.
I mean, I got some of the
Afro vibes.
Yeah, a bit Afro Latin, like Louis Vega, like.
Yeah.
And I have actually just finished an EP right now, and I'm thinking I'm gonna release it on Heat Up.
Yes.
I should.
I think you should release your best music on your own label.
Exactly. Sometimes you think, well, it's not good enough for the label. The label's not good enough, but I'm like, it's your label.
Yes.
You gotta get those thoughts out of your head, But then you think like, I need to promote it really well, and it's expensive, It's not easy to promote music. I try my best for everyone as well, with the label, and I really try to promote it, and I really try to push it, but not easy.
No, I understand, but it's also hard. But I think there's also like a difference to make between an actual huge label where you have like a whole team working full time and that's the whole thing.
Yeah, no.
Or having a label where you kind of just really select critically the music that you love the most and that moves you.
That and just share the music, Be a platform for people. I mean, ultimately, money is not what I'm after here, I'm after good music and trying to promote artists.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying to do that to the best that I can. It's not easy, working full time, producing, label,
Yes.
But it's going well. I have about one release every month.
Yeah.
I just got Quadra Key.
Mm-hmm.
They have an EP. I got Radio again.
Nice.
Diligence. And I just signed 3 tracks from Ale Castro.
Nice. Shout out to Ale Castro.
Oh my God.
He's the best.
Yeah, he really is. He really is. And I have to say, like, not to undermine the other guys that I just mentioned, because their EPs are epic as well.
Yes.
But this one is a special one.
Yeah. Well, the thing is with Ale Castro, I don't know if you have met him in real life.
I have. Yeah.
Okay. I've only, let's say, met him online.
Yeah.
Because he moved back to, I think, Argentina.
He's coming soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I haven't had the chance to actually meet with him
Yeah.
in real life, but I'm really looking forward to him
Yeah.
because our communication has been like amazing.
Well, let's do something together for sure.
Yes, we should.
He's
We should.
really awesome, lovely guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, he had a track last year, I think, or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow, such a good tune, and I always wanted, like, basically, I went up to him. I saw him. He was in Ville de Renate. I think he might have been at your party actually.
Okay.
And
Really, the showcase that we did
Yeah, I think.
with Max.
Or no, was it? Or I can't remember. Anyways, I saw him and I went up to him and I'm like, "Are you Ali Castro?"
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Yeah." I'm like, "Oh, I'm the Checkup and I work at Beatport and I love your music. It's so good. Like, hit me up. I really want to help you and push you on the store and
Yeah.
And then we started talking, and super nice guy. And then I eventually, like, just talked more and more and more. And then I asked him, like, I love your music. Like, it's so good. Like, if you ever, who knows, he might say yes. Have any music, I would love to sign some music on Heat Up Music.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. Fucking 1 month later, he sends me 10 tracks.
No way.
And I was like, how do you expect me to choose 3 or 2? Like, they're all they're all amazing.
I'll take all of them.
All of them, yeah. I'll release your album.
Yes.
And I picked 3.
Okay.
I wish I could show you right now. It's so good. Does this podcast have music or?
No, it doesn't. But
Promos.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it probably is it already scheduled?
It's gonna come in March, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's gonna be soon then.
Yeah.
I mean,
so it'll be premiered on Berlin House Music.
Yes. And probably this podcast then will be released afterwards. So
Perfect.
check out, Ale Castro's release on Heat Up Music.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, right. Exactly. Yeah. No, it's super good. It has the sexy.
Yes.
It has the raw.
Yeah.
It has the soul.
Mm-hmm.
It has the house, and it has the energy.
Nice.
And that right there is a recipe for me. That's you got me.
Okay.
You got me. So yeah, I love it. Super good. And he has that techie vibe on top of it.
Yeah.
It's like that techie, the good tech house kind of.
Yeah. A bit minimal too.
Yeah. In some tracks, yeah. Some tracks are a bit minimal, so I didn't go for those.
Okay.
Even though I really like them.
Yes.
It's just not really the direction that I am going for. I would play them for sure.
Yeah, but not for like
maybe
Heat
not
Up
for
vibe.
Heat Up release or Heat Up vibe. Yeah, try to keep it a bit more. Doesn't have to be. It can be very deep. It just needs to keep that house vibe.
Yeah.
Not so the minimal one.
So now the people who will be submitting demos to Heat Up Music know what they have to be sending.
Exactly, you heard it. You heard it. I think on the vinyl.
Yes.
Like in the circle of the vinyl around, it says, like music made for sexy, raw, energetic, groovy, funky, soulful.
Nice.
All of the above, yeah. And we do have a vinyl with Ettore Usheo.
Yes.
Who's also a phenomenal producer.
Definitely. I think he produces mostly on the MPC, no? MPC producer.
I would say, yeah, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. I think you mentioned that to me.
Yeah, but I think, yes.
And you told me his music on the MPC is next level, yeah.
Yeah, because I think the artwork on Heat Up, I remember it had
an
MPC on it as well.
That's correct. That was a digital one. Yeah, that's correct. Yes. Actually, I need another EP from you, Ettore. It's been a while.
True.
Should hit him up right now. Text him.
Yes.
It's really nice to have this little community, like kind of family of artists, and you surround yourself by people who are like-minded,
Yeah.
And I quite like that, actually.
Yeah, I think it's very nice. It's very positive and very close.
Yeah.
And just all for the love of music.
Exactly.
No bullshit.
No BS.
No BS. All right.
I think we're good here.
I think we're good too.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Yes.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah. Sorry I pushed it like 3 times.
It's all
sorry,
good.
bro, I can't make it. Oh, dude, sorry. But yeah, lovely, nice way to spend a Friday night. Been I think the last 4, 5, 6, I don't know, 7 Friday nights have been by myself. So
Yeah.
it's nice to see some friends, some friendly faces, you know.
Nice, man. Happy.
And I'm going to whoop your ass at chess.
Yeah, we need to finish this game.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. If you've made it all the way to here, then maybe I'm going to give you a vinyl or something, because, I mean, you had to endure all of this. So hit me up, you know, and I'll send you a vinyl.
Yes.
Of my label or of me. Let's see how many people message me right now and say, "Hey, I want the vinyl." Well, if you message me, I'll give you a vinyl.
So what?
You have to live in Berlin, though. You know, like it's hand to hand. I prefer.
Okay, so no people from across the world.
I mean, that involves like addresses and names, and I don't know. People maybe don't want to share that. You know.
True. Well, people always want free stuff.
That's true.
So what I'm saying is, if you're gonna say,
that's true.
I would limit the amount of vinyls that you're giving out.
Okay.
Because otherwise, you're giving a lot of hope. You know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. That's true. I didn't think about that. See, I'm just like, yeah, I'll give some vinyls. Well, how many things do you think I should do?
I don't know.
Yeah, you decide.
Man. 3.
There you go. 3 vinyls. Worldwide.
Nice.
World Wide Web.
Cool. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then we'll catch up another time.
Perfect.
Podcast. All right.
I have to make a mix for you. You asked me like 3 years ago.
Yes.
Still haven't done it.
I actually kind of forgot about it.
Oh, okay. Damn it.
But that's actually good.
Yeah.
Where's my mix, man?
I know. I was like, shit, man. He probably hates me. It's been a minute, so I'm gonna have to do one. I will do one. I promise. In the very, very near future.
All right. Good.
Perfect.
All right, everybody. Thank you for
Berlin House Show.
tuning in and listening. And yeah, see you next time. Well, not really see you, but till the next time. Goodbye.